Distinctive, endearing, reserved, unique, vulnerable. These are some of the adjectives you associate with an Indian sloth bear, a species of bear native to the Indian subcontinent. Today, with the increasing habitat loss, poaching, and conflicts with humans, the species has been reduced to vulnerable status. In this video, I will be visiting Daroji Sloth Bear Sanctuary situated near Hampi, Karnataka and share my experiences and encounter with this awesome mammal. So, without any further ado, let's get started with the video. Daroji Sloth Bear Sanctuary is located in the Ballari district in Karnataka. It is about 50 kilometers from Ballari and about 15 kilometers from the UNESCO World Heritage Site Hampi. Spread over 82.7 square kilometers, the sanctuary was created exclusively for the conservation and protection of the Indian sloth bear. Apart from sloth bears, Daroji Wildlife Sanctuary is also home to other wildlife species such as Indian leopards, Indian pangolins, and various species of birds and reptiles. The sanctuary's rocky terrain provides an ideal habitat for sloth bears, allowing them to seek refuge in caves and crevices during the day. I had the opportunity to see and photograph sloth bears earlier as well in Tadoba Tiger Reserve, but that was a brief encounter. Here I expected to film and shoot them from a much closer distance. We opted for two safaris inside the sanctuary. The first safari was organized by the Jungle Lodges and Resorts, or popularly known as JLR, a chain of resorts owned by the Karnataka government. It was an afternoon safari as we headed deep inside the forest in search of sloth bears. The landscape of Daroji is quite unique with rugged and rocky terrain featuring large granite boulders and rocky outcrops. This type of landscape provides natural shelters and hiding places for sloth bears, allowing them to seek refuge in caves and crevices. The safari jeep took us to a watchtower, from where we were told that we could spot the bears. A few hundred flights of stairs led us to the top of the watchtower. As we reached there, we saw few bears in the distant hill in front of us. The bears were busy having their afternoon snack. Well, quite a good sighting, but somehow our hearts were not full. The photographer in me wanted to film the bears from a much closer distance. We got to know that there is a special provision organized by the Forest Department for photographers to film these bears from a height. With this hope, we ended the first safari and was eagerly waiting for day 2 for the height session. The Forest Department has set up a height deep inside the forest where photographers are allowed to take snaps of the bears from a very close proximity. There is a small hillock in front of the height where honey and jaggery is provided for the bears. This attracts them as they feed on this, giving awesome shots to us. We heard from the officials that the feeding time is around 2 pm, so we hurriedly reached the location. The hide was a two-storied steel cage where 8 people can sit comfortably. There are separate camera charges depending on the size of the lens. You guys can contact the forest department for the updated charges. As soon as food was provided, the bears started appearing one by one. One of the most underrated species of mammals found in the country, the history of Indian sloth bear dates back to the times of Ramayana. When Lord Ram's army crossed Hampi en route to Lanka in his quest to save his wife Sita from the Rakshas king Ravana, they met Jambavan, a bear who joined the army. The Indian sloth bear has shaggy black fur with a distinctive white V-shaped mark on its chest. They have long curved claws adapted for digging and climbing trees. Adult males typically weigh between 80 to 145 kilos, where females are generally smaller, weighing around 55 to 95 kilos. They are primarily found in forested areas, grasslands, and scrublands of the Indian subcontinent. These bears are nocturnal, spending most of their daytime in sleep or rest in caves or dense vegetation. They are primarily insectivorous and have a specialized diet that includes termites and ants. Due to constant habitat loss, poaching, and conflicts with humans, their population is drastically declining day by day and now are labeled as vulnerable on the IUCN's Red List of Threatened Species. The forest and landscape of Daroji provides an ideal habitat for these sloth bears. It has become a popular destination for wildlife enthusiasts and tourists interested in observing sloth bears in their natural habitat. There are more than 150 sloth bears reported to be present inside this sanctuary. We got the opportunity to observe these bears, their habitat, and their behavior from such a close distance. But Daroji is not about just sloth bears alone. There are other animals present along with 70 different types of birds. Stay tuned for my separate video on birds of Hampi where I will show the different type of birds I found there. We spent around 2 hours in the hide and finally it was time to leave. This time our hearts were full. As we headed back along the banks of one of the Tungabhadra canal, our realization dawned upon me. We should take more conservation initiatives to protect this species and their habitats. More protected areas should be established, community-based conservation projects should be undertaken, and most importantly, awareness should be spread about the importance of coexistence with these bears. These bears have been part of our Indian mythology and folklore. It is our duty to protect this wonderful species. We should feel super proud and lucky to have these bears present in our country. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up icon and subscribe to my channel if you haven't had. Hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any future videos from wildlife captured. Goodbye for now and see you in the next video.